The story of the 1948 no-mint mark wheat penny coin is a fascinating chapter in the long and rich history of American coinage, and it has become one of the most talked about coins among collectors, historians, and treasure hunters all over the world. Today we are going to dive deep into the full history, background details, rarity, and the unbelievable current market value of $77,823 for this 1-cent coin, which on the surface looks so small and ordinary but hides a legacy that makes it worth more than many people could ever imagine. When we talk about the wheat penny, we must begin with the design itself. The Lincoln wheat penny, also known as the Lincoln cent, was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the birth of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, and it became the first widely circulated American coin to feature the portrait of a real historical figure rather than symbolic imagery. This was a huge shift in United States coinage history, and instantly made the penny something more than just a piece of currency. It became a piece of national heritage. The front of the coin, known as the obverse, shows the bust of Abraham Lincoln facing right with the word liberty and the motto "In God We Trust," while the back of the coin, known as the reverse, features 2 stalks of wheat, which is why we call it the wheat penny, along with the denomination 1 cent and the words United States of America. Now, the specific year 1948 is where things become interesting. The United States was just a few years out of World War II. The economy was growing and people were rebuilding their lives. Coins were being struck in large numbers, yet the Philadelphia Mint, which is the main minting facility for the country, produced these pennies without using any mint mark. Coins minted in Philadelphia often do not have a mint mark, and so the 1948 no mint mark wheat penny comes from the Philadelphia Mint. And while millions were made, only a fraction survive in pristine, or rare error condition, which is what makes them incredibly valuable today. During the late 1940s, coin collecting as a hobby was beginning to gain more popularity across America. People were looking back at their change and wondering if they had treasures hidden in plain sight. Some people kept rolls of wheat pennies in jars, boxes, or tucked away in drawers, not knowing that certain coins among them would one day reach values beyond $70,000. This is exactly the case with the 1948 no mint mark wheat penny coin. The history of this coin is not only tied to its year of mintage, but also to the craftsmanship of that period. The dies that were used to strike these pennies were sometimes overused or developed cracks and imperfections, and this led to varieties and errors that could make certain coins much rarer than others. Collectors today search for doubled dies, off-center strikes, repunched dates, and other anomalies in the 1948 series, which can elevate the value of the coin far beyond its base worth. The composition of the 1948 no mint mark wheat penny is another aspect worth noting. The coin is made of 95% copper, with the remaining 5% being a mix of tin and zinc. This classic copper blend gives the penny its rich brown or red tone depending on how it has been preserved over the decades. Coins that retain much of their original red luster are significantly more valuable because they look almost as though they just left the mint, and this is what professional grading services look for when deciding how to classify a coin. Speaking of grading, the condition of the coin plays one of the biggest roles in determining its market value. The scale ranges from poor, which means the coin is barely identifiable, to mint state, which means the coin has almost no signs of wear and looks nearly perfect. A 1948 no mint mark wheat penny in average circulation might only be worth a few cents, but one that is certified as mint state with full red color can fetch tens of thousands of dollars, and in rare auction cases some of these coins have reached an astounding $77,823. Imagine for a moment the journey of one such coin, perhaps struck in Philadelphia in 1948, passing from hand to hand through grocery stores, movie theaters, schools, and diners during the booming post-war years, then tucked away in a drawer by someone who thought it looked a little shinier than the rest, decades later discovered by a new generation of collectors, and then sent off to a grading service where it received one of the highest possible designations. This is how a penny that once bought a piece of candy has now become worth more than a luxury car. Collectors also treasure the wheat penny series because it represents the beginning of Lincoln cents, which are still in circulation today. The wheat reverse ran from 1909 until 1958 before being replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959, so the 1948 penny sits right in the middle of that 50-year period, making it a mid-series coin and a prime candidate for collections that focus on completing entire date and mint mark sets. Many collectors will pay high prices for the best examples of each year, and this drives up the market value of rare 1948 coins. Another factor that adds to the mystique of the 1948 no-mint mark wheat penny is its connection to American history. Coins carry the spirit of their time. They reflect the economic and cultural conditions of the period. In 1948, Harry S. Truman was president. The Marshall Plan was helping rebuild Europe. The Cold War was beginning to intensify, and back at home, American families were buying homes, cars, and televisions with pennies like these circulating in their pockets. So when a collector holds a 1948 penny, they are not only holding copper, they are holding a tiny piece of the American story. The current market value of $77,823 for this coin is a testament to how powerful rarity, demand, and history can be in the world of numismatics. This value does not mean that every single 1948 no-mint mark penny will fetch that price, but it shows what is possible for the highest grade examples when sold in major auctions with competitive bidding. Collectors who specialize in wheat pennies know that the combination of condition, luster, strike, and eye appeal can turn a 1-cent coin into a life-changing asset. If you are wondering how to identify whether you might have a valuable 1948 no-mint mark wheat penny, start by examining the coin carefully under good light. Check the date for clarity. Make sure the numbers are not worn down or distorted. Look at the overall condition and color. If it has a strong reddish copper tone with minimal wear, it could be valuable. Also consider sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to receive an official grade which can confirm its status and make it easier to sell in the collector market. There have been stories of people finding rare 1948 wheat pennies in old coin jars inherited from relatives or in small boxes of coins purchased at estate sales. Sometimes a coin that appears ordinary turns out to be a hidden gem. This is part of the thrill of coin collecting. Every penny, nickel, dime, or quarter that passes through your hand has a story and the possibility of hidden value. As we come toward the conclusion of this exploration, it is clear that the 1948 no-mint mark wheat penny coin is more than just currency. It is a treasure, it is history, it is art, and it is a symbol of how something so small can carry such immense worth. Whether you are a seasoned collector or someone just starting to look through spare change, you should know that pennies like these can hold life-changing potential, and the market today proves that, with top examples selling for $77,823. So the next time you come across a wheat penny from 1948, look at it closely, because it might not just be a piece of copper, it might be your ticket to holding a piece of history worth more than most people could ever dream for. The year is 2005, and the United States Mint continues its long tradition of producing Lincoln 1-cent pennies. Among these coins is a version that bears the D Mint mark, standing for the Denver Mint. At first glance, many would dismiss this small copper-plated zinc coin as ordinary pocket change. But numismatics and coin enthusiasts around the world know that some specific examples of the 2005 D Mint mark Lincoln cent are extremely rare and valuable. Today we will take a deep dive into the history, the design, the production details, and the current market value of this coin, which has stunned collectors with a price tag of over $63,120. To begin, we must go back more than a century to understand the origins of the Lincoln cent. The Lincoln 1-cent coin was first struck in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of the birth of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin featured the portrait of Lincoln on the obverse side, making it the first American coin to feature the likeness of a real historical figure rather than a symbolic representation of liberty. This design choice made history, and the Lincoln cent would remain in circulation for generations, becoming the most produced coin in the history of the United States. Over the decades, the Lincoln cent went through subtle changes. Originally made of 95% copper, the composition later shifted to copper-coated zinc in 1982 due to rising copper prices. From that point forward, Lincoln cents were made primarily of zinc, with only a thin copper plating giving them the familiar reddish color. This shift in composition marked a new era for the penny, and the 2005 Denver minted coins are part of this copper-plated zinc lineage. The Denver Mint in Colorado is one of the primary facilities responsible for producing coins for circulation in the United States. The D Mint mark has appeared on countless coins over the decades, and the 2005 issue of Lincoln cents was no exception. Billions of these pennies rolled off the presses in 2005, but as with every large-scale coin production run, a small number of errors and unique variations emerged. It is these special variations that intrigue collectors and drive up value to staggering heights. Now, what makes a 2005 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny worth $63,120? The answer lies in rarity, condition, and collector demand. Some examples have been found with extraordinary mint errors such as double dies off center strikes, die cracks, or misaligned mint marks. Others may be flawless uncirculated examples graded at the highest possible levels by professional coin grading services. A coin graded at MS69 or MS70, which represents nearly perfect condition, can command massive sums at auction because so few exist in such pristine states. When we study the history of coins, we see a clear pattern. Common coins that most people ignore in everyday change can sometimes contain hidden treasures. A penny that cost only 1 cent to spend in 2005 might today be worth more than $60,000 simply because it survived in immaculate condition or carries a rare striking error. That is why so many collectors scour their change jars, their old coin rolls, and even boxes of pennies from the bank searching for that one special coin. The story of the 2005 D penny is not only about money, it is also about history and preservation. Every coin tells a story of the time it was minted, the economy, the technology of the minting process, and the cultural values of the nation. The Lincoln cent continues to be an icon of American coinage, and 2005 stands as a reminder that even modern issues can reach legendary value if the right conditions align. Auction records reveal the truth. In recent years, high-grade examples of the 2005 D Lincoln cent have sold for tens of thousands of dollars, shocking many who never considered such a modern coin to be valuable. Collectors know that the combination of rarity and demand drives the market. If only a handful of coins are known in nearly perfect condition, then those few become treasures worth fighting over in auctions and private sales. Now let us talk about the design. On the obverse side of the coin, we see the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln facing right with the word liberty to his left and the motto "In God We Trust" above his head. The year 2005 appears to the right side along with the D Mint mark indicating the Denver Mint. On the reverse, we find the classic Lincoln Memorial design, which was introduced in 1959 to honor the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This memorial reverse would remain on the penny until 2008. That means the 2005 penny stands within the long run of memorials, since a design instantly recognizable to anyone who has ever handled United States change. Collectors often study the tiniest details of these designs under magnification. Doubling of letters, die polish lines, weak strikes, and other microscopic features can make the difference between a coin worth a cent and a coin worth $63,000. The trained eye of a numismatist can spot these details instantly, but for the casual collector it takes time, patience, and research to understand. That is what makes coin collecting such a fascinating hobby. It is a treasure hunt where knowledge is the key. Imagine walking into a coin shop or attending an auction and seeing a simple 2005 penny displayed under glass. To the untrained observer, it may seem absurd to place such a high value on something so common. But to the collector who knows its history, who understands its rarity, and who appreciates its condition, the value is clear. That small coin is a piece of history, a symbol of preservation, and a gateway into the rich world of numismatics. Today, the market value of a 2005 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny in ordinary circulated condition remains just 1 cent. However, examples in high mint state conditions, especially those certified by professional grading services, can reach values of several $1,000s. The highest known auction result, pushing above $63,000, remains an extraordinary case representing the absolute best example of its kind. It serves as a reminder to all collectors that even modern pocket change can conceal astonishing wealth. The lesson here is simple. Never overlook the coins in your pocket, purse, or piggy bank. Every coin has a story, and some of those stories are worth small fortunes. The 2005 D penny is proof that modern coins deserve just as much attention as older classics. Whether you are a seasoned collector or a curious beginner, you should always check your coins carefully. As we continue to explore the world of coin collecting, we see that history and value are intertwined. The Lincoln cent remains a cornerstone of American numismatics. From the very first 1909 issue to the modern zinc pennies, the coin has carried the face of Abraham Lincoln across more than a century of American life. And in that long story, the 2005 D penny shines as an example of how even recent coins can achieve legendary status. So the next time you receive change at the grocery store or sift through a roll of pennies from the bank, take a closer look. That small coin might just be your ticket to a fortune. Who knows, maybe you will be the next person to discover a pristine or error 2005 D penny and realize that you are holding $63,120 in the palm of your hand. And that, my friends, is the fascinating story of the 2005 D Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent coin, its history, its design, and its incredible market value today. The story of the 1957 D wheat penny coin begins in an era when America was going through a post-war boom and economic prosperity was shaping the lives of millions of families across the nation. This particular penny with its Denver Mint mark carries not just the value of a single cent but also decades of history and a sense of nostalgia for collectors who see in it a representation of American resilience and craftsmanship. The wheat penny series began in 1909 when the United States Mint introduced the Lincoln cent to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The obverse of the coin features the profile of President Lincoln, which has now become one of the most iconic images in American coinage. On the reverse of these early cents were two stylized ears of durum wheat surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America. This design gave rise to the name wheat penny or wheat cent that collectors and everyday people still use today. The 1957 D wheat penny came near the end of the wheat cent era because in 1959 the design would be changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. That means coins dated 1957 are among the last wheat pennies ever struck, making them desirable to collectors who want examples from the final years of the series. The Denver Mint produced an extremely large number of these coins, but that does not take away the fascination collectors have with them, because within these huge mintages there are high-quality examples and rare errors that bring impressive prices on today's market. To understand the history of the 1957 D wheat penny, we must place ourselves in the context of the 1950s. America was experiencing the rise of the suburbs, the expansion of the interstate highway system, and a cultural explosion with rock and roll music. The average citizen would have carried wheat pennies in their pocket without giving them much thought, but today these small copper coins connect us to that time. The 1957 D penny is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, which gives it a distinctive reddish-brown appearance when freshly struck. Over time, exposure to the environment causes the color to change to shades of brown, and collectors often pay special attention to the color designation when grading these coins. When we look at the production numbers, we find that the Denver Mint struck more than 1 billion wheat pennies in 1957. That makes it one of the higher mintage dates in the series. Because of this high mintage, many circulated examples can still be found today in collections and even in pocket change, though it has become less common. However, the real value lies in coins that have been preserved in uncirculated condition. These coins show the full detail of Lincoln's hair and beard on the obverse and the wheat stalks on the reverse without the flattening that comes from years of circulation. Collectors value the 1957 D wheat penny based on grade rarity, and sometimes unique errors. In the lower circulated grades, these coins might only be worth a few cents above face value, but as we move into higher uncirculated grades, the price begins to climb significantly. Coins graded mint state 65 or higher with a bright red designation can sell for hundreds and even thousands of dollars depending on market demand. The highest quality examples, certified by grading services such as PCGS or NGC, are sought after by serious collectors who want the very best representation of the date. Another fascinating aspect of the 1957 D wheat penny lies in the world of error coins. Because such a massive quantity of pennies was struck at the Denver Mint, mistakes inevitably happened. Collectors look for double die errors, repunched mint marks, off center strikes, clipped planchets, and other unusual varieties. These error coins can command premiums far above the standard price of a normal 1957 D penny. For example, a well-known double-die obverse variety can bring in thousands of dollars if it is clearly visible and in high grade. Now let us consider the market value today. While ordinary circulated examples may not be rare, the coin we are focusing on has been recorded in certain cases at astonishing prices. A top-quality gem-red example of the 1957 Dewey penny has reached a current market value of $72,664. That figure represents the pinnacle of what collectors are willing to pay for a coin that combines rarity, condition, and desirability. When such a coin crosses the auction block, it is not just a transaction but a celebration of history, art, and numismatics. The reason a single 1-cent piece could be valued at more than $70,000 lies in the world of coin grading and collector competition. Assembling a registry set of Lincoln cents requires having the finest known examples of each date and mint mark. When only a handful of coins survive in pristine condition, collectors with significant resources are willing to bid aggressively to secure ownership. That competition drives prices higher and higher and turns what once was an everyday penny into a small fortune. To put this in perspective, imagine a coin that once bought a piece of candy in 1957 now carrying the value of a luxury car or even a small home. This transformation illustrates the power of rarity and condition in numismatics. It also shows why so many people today search their change and inherited collections hoping to find one of these rare treasures. Stories abound of individuals discovering valuable wheat pennies in jars passed down from grandparents, or hidden away in old dresser drawers. The journey of the 1957 Dewey penny from production to circulation to collectible treasure is a story of survival. Out of the billions minted, only a select few have remained in pristine, uncirculated condition, untouched by time and human handling. These are the coins that bring headline-making prices and spark excitement in the collecting community. For most people, finding such a coin is unlikely, but the possibility keeps the hunt alive. When narrating the details of this coin, it is important to reflect on Abraham Lincoln himself, whose image has graced the cent for more than a century. His legacy of leadership during the Civil War and his dedication to equality make him a fitting symbol for a coin that circulates among all Americans, rich and poor alike. The wheat reverse design, which ran from 1909 until 1958, ties together the nation's agricultural roots with the image of its most revered president. In this way, every wheat penny carries a story larger than its physical form. Collectors often wonder how to identify a truly valuable 1957 Dewey penny. The key factors include condition, rarity, and era varieties. If you have a penny from 1957 with a D mint mark, examine it closely. Look for strong luster, minimal marks, and a sharp strike. If the coin appears red rather than brown, it may have significant value. Professional grading can authenticate and preserve the coin, ensuring its place in the collector market. As time passes, the supply of high-quality wheat pennies diminishes because coins are lost, damaged, or mishandled. This means that prices for the finest examples are likely to remain strong and perhaps grow even higher. For collectors who invest in rare coins, the 1957 D penny represents both historical significance and financial potential. The idea that a coin minted for everyday use could transform into a 5- or 6-figure asset is one of the most fascinating aspects of numismatics. When telling the story of this coin to an audience, we can imagine the scenes of 1957 America. Families watching black and white television sets, children buying soda pop with a handful of pennies, and the Denver Mint running its presses day and night to meet demand. Each coin struck that year carried with it the labor of engravers, die setters, and mint workers who could not have imagined the future importance of their efforts. They were simply producing money for commerce, yet today their work is studied under microscopes and magnifiers by collectors around the world. The allure of the 1957 Dewey penny also connects to the broader appeal of collecting itself. Human beings have always treasured objects that link them to the past, whether they be ancient artifacts, stamps, or coins. The act of holding a wheat penny allows us to touch history and feel a sense of continuity across generations. Collectors often describe a deep satisfaction when adding a well-preserved coin to their collection because it represents not only value but also heritage. Today, the 1957 Dewey penny continues to inspire fascination in the coin collecting world. Auction results prove that demand remains strong and stories of lucky finds keep the dream alive for everyday people. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or someone just beginning to explore coins, the lesson of the 1957 D penny is clear. Always check your change, always examine inherited jars of coins, and never underestimate the humble 1-cent piece. As we conclude this long journey into the history and value of the 1957 Dewey penny, we recognize it as more than a coin. It is a relic of mid-20th century America, a tribute to Abraham Lincoln, a canvas for artistic design, and a vehicle for incredible value in today's collector market. The story of how a 1-cent coin minted in Denver could achieve a market value of $72,664 reminds us of the hidden treasures that surround us. It encourages us to look closer, to pay attention to details, and to cherish the small things that carry big stories. The 1957 Dewey penny is a coin of history, a coin of value, and a coin of wonder. And as long as people continue to collect, study, and admire these pieces, its legacy will live on for generations to come. Welcome back to the channel, where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins, valuable pennies, and hidden treasures that may be sitting right inside your pocket change. Today we are going to explore one of the most surprising and exciting stories in modern coin collecting, the 2007 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin. This coin might look ordinary at first glance, but its story, history, and current market value make it one of the most eye-opening coins that collectors and treasure hunters alike are desperately searching for. So stay tuned as we go on a detailed journey into the history, the background, the minting process, the rarity, the errors, and the shocking current market value of this coin, which is recorded to be as high as $91,273. Let us start at the very beginning with the history of the Lincoln cent. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the birth of President Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the very first United States coin to feature the portrait of an actual historical figure. Prior to this, most coins only carried symbolic imagery such as Lady Liberty, or shields, or eagles, but the Lincoln cent marked a new era in American coin design. Abraham Lincoln, who served as the 16th President of the United States, was chosen because of his legacy in preserving the Union and abolishing slavery. The decision to honor him on the coin was both patriotic and symbolic. Over the years, the Lincoln cent went through many changes. In 1959, for example, the reverse of the coin was redesigned to replace the wheat ears design with the Lincoln Memorial to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This Lincoln Memorial reverse remained in use until 2008, which means that the 2007 penny was one of the last years of the Lincoln Memorial reverse design before the big 2009 bicentennial redesign. So already the 2007 penny carries historical weight because it was part of the final chapter of the Lincoln Memorial era. Now here is where things get very interesting. Coins in the United States are minted at different facilities, including Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, and later West Point. Traditionally, coins carry mint marks to show which facility produced them. For example, a D mint mark means it was minted in Denver, and S mint mark means San Francisco, and a P mint mark means Philadelphia. However, for most pennies, Philadelphia has historically produced coins without any mint mark at all. This is why when you find a Lincoln cent without a mint mark, it usually means it came from the Philadelphia Mint. But in 2007 there was a peculiar situation that made the no-mint mark Lincoln cent extremely significant. During the 2007 production year, billions of pennies were minted across facilities, but due to certain striking errors and die varieties, a very tiny number of 2007 Lincoln cents without a mint mark were produced in ways that made them unique. Unlike the standard Philadelphia no-mint mark coins, which are common, these particular examples were struck with special die errors and varieties that have driven collectors. While these errors range from double die obverse features to unusual weak strikes, misaligned dies, and in some cases planchet anomalies, these error-based no-mint mark 2007 pennies are what give this coin its astonishing value. Imagine for a moment being an ordinary person in 2007 using a penny to buy candy soda, or perhaps leaving it in your car cup holder. You would never imagine that one of these tiny copper-coated zinc coins could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. But fast forward to today, and rare error-filled no-mint mark 2007 Lincoln cents in pristine condition have been auctioned for staggering amounts. One confirmed sale recorded the price of $91,273. This is not a myth. This is not an exaggeration. This is a reflection of how powerful rarity, condition, and collector demand can be in the world of numismatics. So why exactly does this coin command such a high price? Let us break it down. First, and most importantly, is rarity. In the world of coin collecting, rarity always drives value. The fewer examples there are of a particular coin, the more collectors are willing to pay to own one, While billions of ordinary 2007 pennies exist, only a handful of no-mint mark era varieties have been identified and graded. Second factor is condition. Coins are graded on a scale called the Sheldon scale, ranging from poor condition at grade 1 to perfect mint state at grade 70. The highest graded coins with little to no wear, flawless luster, and sharp details always fetch premium prices for the 2007 no mint mark penny. Some examples graded in the high mint state and proof-like categories are the ones achieving values above $90,000. Third factor is collector demand. The Lincoln cent has one of the largest collector bases in the entire numismatic world. Almost every beginner collector starts with Lincoln pennies, and many advanced collectors dedicate their entire lives to building complete sets including rare varieties. This built-in demand ensures that any unusual or rare Lincoln cent will skyrocket in price. Fourth factor is historical significance. As mentioned earlier, the 2007 penny was one of the last years of the Lincoln Memorial reverse design. Collectors love coins that represent the end of an era because it makes them symbolic of transition and change that alone boosts its collectible appeal. Now let us talk about how to identify a 2007 no-mint mark Lincoln cent that could be worth a fortune. If you come across a 2007 penny, the first thing to check is whether it has a D mint mark for Denver or no mint mark at all. Remember, no mint mark usually means Philadelphia, which by itself is not rare. However, if your coin has unusual features such as doubling on the lettering in words like Liberty, or In God We Trust, or extra thickness in the date 2007, or strange die cracks across Lincoln's face or the memorial, then you may have something special. Another thing to look for is the condition. Even if you find one without obvious doubling or cracks, if it looks exceptionally sharp, shiny, and almost untouched, it may still be worth sending to a grading service like PCGS or NGC for professional evaluation. Graded coins with certification often sell for exponentially higher prices than raw ungraded coins. Let us also consider the metal composition. The 2007 penny is made of a zinc core with a thin copper plating weighing about 2.5 grams. This composition has been in use since 1982, when the United States moved away from the traditional solid bronze cents, because these modern copper-plated zinc pennies are prone to damage, corrosion, and discoloration. Finding one in mint state condition without spotting or wear is rare. That rarity again contributes to the high values we are seeing today. Now imagine finding one of these coins in your change drawer, piggy bank, or coin jar at home. It is the dream of every coin collector to stumble upon a treasure hidden in plain sight, and the 2007 no mint mark Lincoln penny, valued at $91,273, is a perfect example of how treasures can exist in the most unexpected places. Stories from collectors tell us that many of these coins have been discovered accidentally. One story involves a man who found one in his childhood coin collection box and decided to have it appraised. Another involved a woman who was sorting through a jar of pennies collected over the years and noticed something different about the lettering on her 2007 penny. After grading, it turned out to be one of the rare era varieties worth tens of thousands of dollars. So the big question is, how can you tell if you have one, and what should you do next? My advice is simple: do not spend your 2007 pennies without checking them carefully. Get a magnifying glass and inspect the date, lettering, and details. Look closely for doubling, thickened letters, die cracks, or unusual marks. And if you believe you have found something rare, send it for grading. Even if it is not the $91,000 variety, you may still find that it is worth hundreds, or even thousands, depending on the error and condition. Let us take a moment to talk about auctions and sales. Coin auctions, both online and live events, have become the primary marketplace for high-end coins. When a rare 2007 no mint mark Lincoln cent appears at an auction, it attracts fierce bidding wars among collectors, investors, and dealers. That is how the record sale of $91,273 happened. Multiple collectors competed, pushing the price higher and higher until it reached that extraordinary figure. It is also important to understand that coin values fluctuate based on market demand. A coin worth $91,000 today might be worth more or less in the future, depending on how many new discoveries are made and how much collector interest remains strong. The Lincoln cent series continues to be one of the most popular areas of numismatics, so it is very likely that demand will stay high. As we wrap up this deep dive, let us reflect on the incredible journey of the Lincoln penny, from its humble beginnings in 1909 to the 2007 no mint mark variety worth over $91,000. This little coin represents history, artistry, economics, and the thrill of discovery. It is a reminder that sometimes the smallest objects can hold the greatest stories. So the next time you get change at the store or roll pennies from your piggy bank, remember to look closely. You might just be holding a fortune in your hand, hidden inside what most people see as just an ordinary 1-cent coin. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of the 2007 no mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin with its history and astonishing current market value of $91,273.